Have you ever thought about how something as ordinary as a sock could solve a murder? Not DNA, not a weapon, not even a fingerprint, just the faint outline of a sock pressed into the floor at the scene of a brutal crime. Today on The Minute Detective, we're diving into the case of the sock print that solved a murder. It was a quiet suburban neighborhood, a place where people left their doors unlocked, kids rode bikes until the streetlights came on, and neighbors waved at each other across their lawns. But one morning, everything changed. Police were called to a home after a woman was found murdered in her living room. There were no signs of forced entry, no obvious weapon, and no clear suspects. At first glance, detectives feared this case would drag on for months, maybe even years. But then, while combing through the crime scene investigators noticed something strange. On the hardwood floor, just near the body, was a faint smudge. Not a shoe print, not a bare footprint, but the outline of a sock. Most killers are careful. They wipe surfaces, ditch weapons, and wear gloves. But this killer had slipped up literally. In the rush to commit the crime, they had walked across the victim's floor in their socks. What they didn't realize was that socks leave prints to the weave of the fabric, the dirt picked up from outside, even tiny unique wear patterns. These can all transfer onto a surface. The print wasn't perfect, but under oblique lighting, when investigators shined a flashlight at just the right angle, the pattern of the sock became clear. It was faint, it was partial, but it was there. And in the world of forensic science, sometimes just enough is all you need. The sock print was photographed, measured, and preserved, but police still needed more. After all, a sock print isn't as strong as DNA or fingerprints in court, so investigators looked deeper. They pulled surveillance footage from around the neighborhood. At first, nothing stood out until a grainy video from a nearby house showed a figure leaving the victim's home late that night. The person was carrying their shoes in their hands. It didn't make sense. Why would someone sneak away without shoes on? That strange behavior became the missing puzzle piece. Detectives now had a theory. The killer had taken off their shoes to move quietly inside the house, and in doing so, they left behind the sock print that would betray them. Detectives turned their focus on people close to the victim. One name stood out, a man she had recently broken up with. He had motive, opportunity, and a history of angry confrontations. When police brought him in for questioning, he denied everything. He claimed he hadn't even been near her home that night. But when detectives searched his belongings, they made a chilling discovery: a pair of socks, stained with traces of the victim's blood. Forensic analysts compared the weave and wear of those socks to the crime scene print. The alignment was nearly perfect. The unique patterns matched in multiple areas. Suddenly, the faint smudge on the hardwood floor wasn't just interesting, it was evidence. In court, the defense argued that a sock print was flimsy, that it could have belonged to anyone, that it wasn't as strong as DNA, but the prosecution tied everything together. The video of the suspect sneaking away barefoot, the bloody socks found in his possession, and the matching sock impression left at the scene. Jurors didn't need convincing. The sock print told the story that the killer never wanted revealed. The verdict: guilty of murder. In the end, justice came from the most unexpected place, something most of us never even think about. Shoes can be traced, bare feet can be identified. But in this case, it was a sock that overlooked, ordinary, everyday sock that cracked the mystery. Until next time, remember, the smallest clue can solve the biggest crimes. Thanks for watching The Minute Detective. Like and subscribe for more.